Perfectly fine. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Actually, I had a session which was going scheduled to close at 5:30, but it got extended. And then I thought, let me just take a minute's quality break before I enter another session. Because, yeah, even as a coachee, I am quite demanding on myself and I talk a lot. So, which is again exhausting. So I thought, no, and I really want to challenge you. In fact, I want to challenge my thoughts via you. So, so you require a lot of energy to get challenged, right? I was just preparing myself for that. That's it. How about
I
you?
hear you. Yeah, I'm very good. I was looking forward to this conversation.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. I hope you've taken care of, your room being shut and whatever you need
Yeah, yes,
to be able
yes,
to be present here today.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we have about 30 minutes together. And in the time that we have together, what in specific would you like to achieve?
So, talking about what I can bring in, I want to explore uh, my awareness around something. Either I can say that, exploration or maybe reflection around uh, around people who are not great listeners, or how do I put it? These days, because active listening is one of the very important coaching competencies. I have the way I used to listen, always used to consider myself as a very good listener. And now I know that I am a good listener. But what the challenging part now, what I experience is whenever I come across people who do not really make the effort to understand things or me, or even to listen things. Uh, Earlier, it used to happen that I used to compare their understanding and their listening with my understanding and my listening. So, because of coaching, I was able to drop that comparison. But now, what I experience is I'm able to sense that immediately if someone is not trying to understand things, someone is trying to deflect it, or someone is not being a good listener. So the challenge, what I find is how do I communicate that to them without putting them in a defensive position? Because uh, it's a general observation that whenever you try to call out something that, hey, I feel that, this is the case with you, or this is a area to be explored, or this needs to be addressed. Not everybody takes it in the right sense. Either people try to reject that, okay, this did not happen at all. That's the case, or they try to avoid those kind of conversations. So what I have realized being a coach is I need to communicate it differently so that people, if there is no openness for such a topic, or I am bringing something as an observation, the way I communicate brings that openness in them. So I want to increase my awareness around how, what will enable me to do that. So that's I want to park this thought at one place. Another is how this thing has helped me. My conclusions about, okay, people, whether they are good listeners or whatever is my understanding about listening and understanding people. these things, these observations, they help me to make a decision about the kind of people that I want to work with. And it has been working well with my choice of projects. And since I'm a new coach and a new entrepreneur, so I have been taking up projects other than coaching as well. So there it has always helped me, my understanding about people. And whenever it's like if I have to remove myself from a project or from an assignment, or I have to maintain a distance, so that, like, whenever the choice is about walking away from a project or from the people, this thing helps me instantly. And then communication, so the thing boils down to, okay, how do I communicate that decision? And then that thread gets closed there. Okay, I sense something, I understand things, then I sit with that, and then I communicate my decision. So that thing gets closed. But when it comes to projects or relationships, be it, clients which are ongoing, where I am already there, I am, uh, those are my active projects or my active work, their communication becomes important and necessary. So that's where, I feel that it is really necessary for me to have more clarity around, how can I help myself with that.
So from this, the sense I'm getting is over time you have been able to understand who listens to you deeply and who does not. And that seems to also govern the way you choose relationship and how you engage with them. And it feels like it's very important for you. From there stems your other question, that how do I communicate to them if it's an ongoing relationship? How do I communicate to them that this is working, this is not working?
Yeah. Yes.
So by the end of this conversation, how would you know that you have achieved what you have come here for?
Mm. Maybe a feeling of you know simplification. And currently, I feel there's when I say that, people are like, I want to communicate better. I also have, at one side, I also have this expectation around communication. How I approach things is, whenever I feel that, a communication is going at a different place than it is intended to go, I don't wait for, things to happen. I take the onus of maybe getting on a call instantly to clarify, or just drop a message that, are we on the same page? Yeah, that's a better choice of words, I feel. Yeah, I do that. I take that initiative to check with the other person whether we are on the same page. Right. So, uh, to answer your question, how I want to feel about it is, I want to have more clarity and less amount of hesitation around how do I go about it. So depending on the ongoing relationship, the relationship decides whether I would be having any kind of hesitation or I won't be having any. Yeah. So I would like to remove that uh, feeling of hesitation about, okay, how do I communicate, and replace it with maybe a simpler, one or two steps that, yeah, about the opportunity. Okay, I can, maybe I can just take this opportunity and I can communicate it in such and such way.
So what I hear you say, that if when you understand how to communicate to these people, especially in an ongoing relationship, you will feel a sense of clarity, and that hesitation to communicate will leave.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
So in the time that we have today, how would you know that you have what you wanted?
I'll just know, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a right answer to that right now, really. But I would just know. I mean, I'm confident that I will know, but I don't know what it will be.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge you for your confidence.
So the confidence also comes from you, I don't know. It's just that I feel that, yeah, I'll have the answers by the end of our conversation.
So, to begin this exploration, as you said, and deepen your awareness, what do you think you need to focus on to start with?
So I want to start with my focus is definitely about, removing that hesitation, and maybe changing, looking at my choice of words. Now that's something which I also feel that, I'll gradually I'll learn how to uh, make better choices, choose better words, and that has happened even in the like in the immediate past 6 months. I have come a long way with my choice of words. The primary reason why I feel is why this topic is more important is my style of communication and my how my personality is. I have a very direct style of communication, and so sometimes I used to come across as a person who is not empathetic, which was not the case. But I don't use, I mean, it's not my personality to use very flowery language or maybe even mild words. I have been around a lot of critical people for majority of my life, and that comes from my immediate family. So initially, that used to reflect a lot in the way I used to converse with people. So my intention never was to hurt them, but I used to use those same words which were thrown to me. So over the years and after coming into the coaching space, I consciously removed a lot of, changed a lot of my vocabulary, the way I converse. I know that it will be a continuous exercise to do that and reflect on that. So my reason to bring this to this conversation today is the way my personality is and my requirement about communication, communicating better. How to bridge that gap, because it's always easier to stick to your personality, your natural style of communication. And I mean, if I come across an individual similar who has a similar style of communication as I have, I'm very comfortable with that. But many others I have seen that, they say that, okay, so this person was, very blunt. And so that is something which makes me feel that maybe, I come across as blunt, or so how do I bridge that gap? Or is there a need to bridge that gap? I'm not aware. Is there a need? Or yeah.
I would really like to acknowledge your awareness, and it almost seems to me that you have explored this topic before this conversation. Maybe you've been exploring it. That's what it's the sense I get. And from what you have shared, what I hear you say is that you have a personality and a past upbringing that has kept you, uh, it was a critical upbringing. However, you have made certain choices and you have shifted, and you're acknowledging that you have shifted in terms of choice of words, and that's a continuous journey. At the same time, you're aware that sometimes you can get direct and blunt, and you're actually exploring, is that okay? Do I need to change at all? These are the questions that are in front of you.
Yeah. So these questions plus my thoughts around hesitation, what's coming to me right now is, I feel this hesitation with certain ongoing relationships, and with certain, with a different set. I maybe I don't feel that, I'm quite upfront. So what is the difference in those two? At one place I am related, there is some, there's a family relationship combined with a work relationship, and with rest of the uh, things on the work front, that's not there. Family is not in the picture. So what makes me a little hesitant is yeah, yeah. So the matter, the family part makes it more sensitive, and a good way I feel to go around is to stick to the personality and maybe come up with a different way to handle it a little, delicately, maybe just go slow. And there's no need to call out anybody, okay, this is what is happening. But I need to be, what I understand is I need to consciously and very fluidly bring in uh, the kind of communication that I'm looking at. So one thing that I would be doing is I am going to stick to my personality, authenticity being one of my values. If I'm, I mean, I have experienced that whenever I don't stick to my personality, I get into some sort of trouble. So I don't want to do that. That's one part. Another is I need not have the whole communication around, maybe there are 4 or 5 pointers which I feel are, I need to communicate that. Maybe I should not take it at one go. It because since I'm saying that, this is a problem with this is a challenge that I find myself in with people who are not great listeners. So if I know that they are not very good at listening, so presenting all the pointers at one go is anyways not going to land with them. Maybe take one thing at a time, one step at a time, and not be very anxious about the rest of the things. So that's the second thing that is coming up for me. Go slow and pick up one thing at a time. And then, yeah, so I have to be a little nice. Yeah, that's the difference between, combining family and work. So that's something that I'll have to, I mean, that's part of the responsibility that you have to bear when it comes to family. Yeah. So I think I'll figure it out, if I am in a, I approach it in a relaxed manner without really having that hesitation. Okay, uh, it's family, so how will the other person take it? If I don't have too much of anxiety around that, I think it will, happen appropriately. So these three things, yeah, I think these three things are important. Yeah, and that they will help me sail through.
So what I hear you say is the difficulty was with family and not so much in other relationship. Work is easier. This is sensitive. That's the word you used. And the the points that you have arrived at is, first of all, stick to my personality, stick to my values, especially authenticity. And your awareness is that when you do not stick to it, it doesn't work for you. And second is, be very conscious. And if they have not been listening, there's no point sharing all the 6 points. So just share it slow. And you talked about being conscious and being slow in dealing with this relationship.
Yeah.
And as you were sharing, Archana, the sense I was feeling is I breathed out and literally I felt my heart expand. I could feel it.
Yeah.
So we have about 4 minutes in this conversation now. What new are you learning about yourself in this conversation?
I'm learning that, sometimes I become very critical about my direct personality. So the problem with the direct personality is not the personality as such. I just need to take care that I do not complicate things for people. I keep if I keep it simple, the language may not appear, uh, I mean, even if it's direct, I need to ensure that it is simple. So the problem is not there with being direct. If you are direct and if you are, uh, talking about a lot of things or bringing too many observations, that is something tends to overwhelm a person or go to a more closed mindset. If I'm direct and if I keep it simple, I think that's a better way to approach things. So this is something new that I'm learning. Yeah, I learned about myself today, and it's connected to going slow. It's another connected learning to this is if I know that the other person is not a very good listener, so why do I spend my energy to bring all the learnings at one go? Make it into some tiny pieces so that it lands well. Ultimately, with communication, the most important part is you know something and you want to uh, convey it to the other person in the same sense that you understand. So conveying it in piecemeal is the best way to do that, and not necessarily how you convey. Of course, I mean it is an important part, but since I think I have come a long way on that front as well, and I need not be, at least I mean I need not be too critical about it anymore, and the simple communication is should be my focus area right now. Yeah. Yeah. So you have this ability of taking very long pauses, which have really helped me a lot.
Thank you. You like to summarize and close this conversation.
Yeah, simple communication is the key. Let it be direct, and the simplicity will drive the vocabulary, I guess. Yeah. Yes, I would like to stick to that.
And I would like to acknowledge you for being so vulnerable and authentic.
Thank you.